Dark Souls 2 is apparently the most hated game in the series and the most hated Soulsborne for that matter. And how do I know? Well, the internet said so, and everyone knows that anything said on the internet is the most objective fact ever, right?
Are you challenging me?
I tried it a few months back, got stuck with a broken sword and quit. Because in the back of my mind it didn't deserve a minute of my time because the internet said so.
You're so dumb.
But I didn't fully discard the idea of going back to this game, and a few weeks ago a guy literally subscribed to watch me play, and I'm a man of the people. And I also have a soft spot for underdogs. So I booted it back up and I didn't just play it. I fell into it. And by the end my entire perspective had flipped. So in this video I'm gonna give you a summary of my entire journeys and my overall thoughts about this game, which is the most important part of the video. So make sure you watch till the end. And just for the record, I played the Scholar of the First Sin version of the game. And without further ado, let's get into the video. I spawned in as this cursed undead schmuck off to break the curse. And then I talked to a couple of creepy old ladies, chose my name, and this time around I chose the swordsman class because I didn't want to quit just for the lack of good weapons. And after the tutorial, I went to Majula, and the way sunlight slowly revealed the entire area was so majestic, and the music was a chef's kiss on top of that. I met the Firekeeper, probably the most beautiful one in the series. We then talked to the blacksmith who lost his key to his workspace, and the dude who kept sitting on the steps for the entirety of the game, just like Dark Souls 1 and 3. I also talked to the Talking Toms, then I met the true first boss. 3 overpowered pigs. These things were tankier than early game hollows. I was literally using healing items on farm animals. Now that's a new low. Anyways, then I took this path on the side of Majula and found this rock I have to jump on. So I jumped there.
Let's try that again.
So I jumped there and landed there without breaking a sweat. Then I learned the rules. Die and your max HP shrinks. Your stamina bar is for decorative purposes. Your weapons are made of glass. The game looked me dead in the eyes and said, you will be cautious and you will be efficient. And apparently this game has Ninja Turtles in it, and I met one of them in their 50s, but still haven't lost their edge even a bit and practically mauled me to death. Then I made my way to the last giant's boss room, and he had a huge hole in his face and made me think about all the possibilities with that hole, if you know what I mean. But I must appreciate how Dark Souls 2 made a cinematic cutscene for every major boss fight. Beating him was incredibly easy, so I made quick work of him. Then I met the Pursuer, and this dude could literally levitate. And I tried to man the giant crossbow like I saw in YouTube videos, but every time I did that, he snapped the bow in half and me along with it. So I had to raw dog the entire fight and finished him off after a couple of tries. Then I got flown away to the Lost Bastille thanks to a kind eagle. After that I went deep into the Bastille, faced off against the ruined sentinels, but there were 3 of them. So I had to call in some backup, and this time I was quite confident since I had someone watching my back. But halfway through I fell down from the platform and the someone was soloing them with magic beams. But she sacrificed herself for me, and I had to finish the job to pay tribute to her sacrifice. After that I went to Sinner's Rise, fought my way through to the last Sinner's boss room, had a fight with him, finished him off, and lit up one of the 4 primal bonfires, and apparently they are required to progress further in the game. Then I went to the Hades Tower, killed the Dragon Rider and the old Dragon Slayer who looked exactly like Ornstein from Dark Souls 1. And honestly, he wasn't that tough like he was in Dark Souls 1. And apparently you have to take the ship in No Man's Wharf even if you kill the last sinner early. Then I talked to this NPC to progress further in the story. Then I fought against the skeleton boss, made my way to the Harvest Valley, and there I met this incredible beautiful woman, and she said she collected rare stones and how my ear pricked up after hearing that.
Many of these stones are quite useful. For instance, certain stones are used in smithing. Ah, now your ears prick up.
But I'm pretty sure something else also pricked up, but let's just keep it PG.
Whoa, joke!
After that I wasted a lot of time in this poison-filled pools and found my way to the boss room of Misa, but it had the biggest pool of poison I have ever seen, even more toxic than my eggs.
Man, shut your bitch ass!
And I had to put a windmill on fire to clear out the poison. Now who in their right mind would have figured that out if it wasn't for the internet? I had a fierce fight with this Medusa bootleg, and with some assists from Jester Thomas I defeated her too. Then came the most hellish area in my journey, the Iron Keep. I have almost 2 hours and 45 minutes of footage of being stuck in this level. I kept dying over and over to the Alone Knights, and they kept moving like the T-1000 Terminator and was spawning out of God knows where. Trying to reach the Smelter Demon was a gauntlet of despair. I would get ganked, lose all my Esters, and arrive at the boss door like a man after his 9-to-5 job. I tried parrying, tried running around them, but it was always the same. And I even changed my weapon to the Great Sword, and even then I got killed because every time I went there they were like,
"How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?"
Shit got so intense that the game took pity on me and some of the enemies stopped spawning in the first area. And I have never felt so insulted while playing a video game before like that. So I took a different route to the old Iron King's boss room, and this dude probably had protein shake for his every meal. His primary attack was just bumping on the ground with his forearm and did a couple of fire breathing along with the laser. But it honestly felt like he was a poorly designed major boss. And even with all that protein, he got defeated by a naked and ugly hollow man. Then I unpetrified a woman, gave her some clothes, tapped some humanoid scorpion sass, found my way to the Duke's Dear Freya boss room, who's basically a spider version of human centipede.
Hey yo, what the?
Only attached ass to ass.
Ass to ass.
They had a boss run back with almost 10 spiders coming at you, and I'd say the boss run back was harder than the boss fight itself. Came across this dude in Majula who was selling ladders, and I had to pay him, but he only gave me a ladder smaller than my D. Then I found my way to the gutter, which is somewhat this game's version of Blighttown. Had a fight with the Rodden, got twisted like a doll by him to death, died a couple more times to his slow attacks, then defeated him after a couple of tries. And when I tried to rekindle his primal bonfire, I got jump scared by this god knows what creature.
I am Aldia.
And he asked me if I wanted to get rid of this curse, and I'm like, duh, why else would I go through all of this torture? Then I made my way to the Drangleic Castle, which looked incredible from the outside, by the way. Talked to the Queen Nashandra, defeated the Dragon Riders, met the Looking Glass Knight, had a fight with him and defeated him, and finally I made my way to the Shrine of Amana. And I was prepared for it beforehand thanks to the warnings from my viewers. And I specifically went for an all-out strength-based build with a greatsword so that I could take them down with one hit or two. Because this place was filled with lizards hiding underwater, monks who could move as fast as the Alone Knights, and mages shooting homing magic beams, and if none of them worked, I'd just fall to my death through the water. Came across this singing woman with a very interesting name.
We are Milfanito.
Defeated a couple more of those enemies, came across a hollow Milfanito, whose voice got stolen by this frog-like monster named Demon of Song. I defeated him and got jump scared again. Then I faced off against Velstadt.
Say it again, Dexter.
Velstadt. Then I faced off against Velstadt, the last remaining guard defending Vendrick. It took me a couple of tries, not because he was way too strong, but because I was way too cocky of my stats. And I think he's one of the few bosses that I actually enjoyed in the game, because most of the bosses were incredibly linear. So I set my sword on fire and finally defeated him. And came across a completely hollowed out King Vendrick wandering around in a room aimlessly like a child. And I grabbed his ring, and not the ring you're thinking about. Then I went to Aldia's keep, got my head eaten by a giant hippo, faced off against the guardian dragon, and boy, I was doing bonkers damage to him like it's free real estate. After that, I had the most incredible spectacle ever. Dragons flying all over the place while I crossed the bridge while getting an ultra wide view of this castle. Then I got jump scared again. I talked to a huge dragon, but I forgot to clip that part. After that, I got into a giant's memory, killed the giant lord, got into the throne of one, faced off the throne watcher and defender, and rolled myself into oblivion. And then I came back again with some help from Benhard, defeated both of them, which triggered an amazing cutscene of Nashandra's entry. But I died there due to getting cursed. And I came back again, and this time it triggered a different cutscene.
Open yourself to me. Be one with the dark.
And me and Benhard mollywopped her ass, killed her, and then this epic cutscene played out.
Great Sovereign, take your throne.
And I took the throne, and that was the end of my journey in Dark Souls 2, a game that I never thought I was gonna finish. I played the entire game like Barcelona. I didn't level up my health much or cared about the defense, but I made sure when I hit incredibly hard. And in the end, it worked out really well. I'm going to be honest, this game had a lot of shit that didn't spark any joy, like the Iron Keep or Shrine of Amana, and by all means, it is not the best Soulsborne game either. At least not out of all the games I have played so far. The adaptability stat was the most useless stuff in any Souls game ever, and healing was incredibly slow, but even then I don't think this game deserved as much hate as it gets, because I think this game actually makes you very efficient with your health and your resources. And since you cannot run through every level due to sheer amount of enemies, you actually have to get really good at knowing your weapon and your character. And because you're so often facing multiple enemies, the game puts you in a flow state, constantly engaged, constantly adapting, and my dopamine was literally blasting to the point I never felt bored even when I was getting my ass kicked, and finishing a level felt way more cathartic than any other FromSoft games because of that. I also don't think most bosses were well designed and felt quite linear, but considering the amount of enemies I had to go through during each run back, that was pretty fair, I guess. And throughout the game from start to finish, I enjoyed the journey more than the goal itself, and I think that's the best part about this game. And I think a lot of the hate comes from a kind of hive mind mentality. Someone said it's trash and suddenly everyone's repeating it. Sometimes going in already expecting to hate it, or worse, without even playing it. And look, if you're going to criticize DS2 for too many enemies, awful runbacks, or mundane bosses, then we have to hold that same energy for Dark Souls 1 as well. The runback to Gravelord Nito, the entire Tomb of the Giants for that matter, and don't get me started on Bed of Chaos. Worst runback, worst boss fight, and even the fight against Gwen felt incredibly boring. And yet people call DS1 a masterpiece. Even Dark Souls 3, after being the perfect Soulsborne, has lows like Catacombs of Carthus and Volnir boss fight and the runback itself. So why do you single out DS2 so much? It just feels unfair. If you haven't played Dark Souls 2 because the internet told you not to, forget them. Try it yourself. You're gonna lose your mind through some of the levels, but trust me, if you bear through all of them, this is gonna be one of the best gaming experiences of your life. Let me know what you think about people hating this misunderstood title in the Souls series. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe and help me grow. And I'll see you in the next one.